What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I am Brian Jester, co-founder here at Occupy Fantasy, single game $1 million winner. And we're here with some NFL DFS picks and lineup advice for tonight's single game showdown slate. Monday Night Football, FanDuel, DraftKings, Chicago Bears, Pittsburgh Steelers. If you've seen these videos before, you know what we normally do is it's about 10 minutes long. We go through lineup construction tips for low risk and high risk contests for FanDuel and DraftKings. We talk about injuries and any impacts they may have on the slate and just some general strategies to help get you to the top of your contest leaderboards. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the channel, get notified when we go live or upload any new videos. NFL videos coming every single day during the season. You don't want to miss those. Give us a thumbs up if you like the showdown content. Lets us to continue to make more of these types of videos. Any questions you have, comment on the video below after we publish it, or hop in our Discord server. Click the join button below the video to join our Discord server. So let's just jump right into it. Super gross slate, super low total. Pittsburgh's a favorite. Not a ton of value on the slate. It's honestly pretty similar if you played last night's Rams and Titans game and you played it on DraftKings, even on FanDuel, and you were trying to find some value to fit in Cooper Kupp at captain. You looked and you said, wow, these are some super gross values. I don't like any of these players except for maybe Adrian Peterson. Well, we have a very similar slate tonight as we expect most people to try to jam in Najee Harris, rookie running back, projects as the best play on the board. In tournaments, we have him 25 to 30% captain on DraftKings projected. So he's going to be the most popular player. In order to fit him in there, we're going to need some values, but there just aren't that many. So let's jump right into it. Let's start with low risk contests. 50-50s, double ups, head-to-heads. Now, generally, I say generally because we do have to take this on a slate-by-slate basis. Generally, we want to get both quarterbacks, both running backs to lock up all of the scoring. Tonight, David Montgomery is coming back from injury. You see he has the IR tag. He will be activated by 3 p.m. Eastern or 4 p.m. Eastern today. He should resume his normal role, but we can't be 100% sure. Damian Williams is out, pass-catching running back. And Khalil Herbert, who took most of the reps while Montgomery was on injured reserve, he's priced up. If we look at the flex, they're basically the same price, 8,400 versus 8,200. Only one of these guys can hit value more than likely. So which one's it going to be? Probably Montgomery, but can we say that with pure certainty? No, we can't. So it makes it tough to play one of these guys in low-risk contest tonight. Now, if we start with Najee Harris, both quarterbacks, that's 3,400 left per player. And like I said before, not a ton of values. Now, this game does have a super low total. Fields has been taking a decent amount of sacks this year. We know Big Ben's turnover prone and can take sacks. So both defenses are great plays. The Bears especially. Just $2,600, one of the better value plays because they only need a couple of points to get you whatever you need in most contest types. The Steelers defense is $5K. That leaves us $2,800 left per player. And there's really not much down here, right? I mean, look at all these guys. Wide receivers 4, 5, tight end 2s. No standout value play. So for me, when I see a slate like this, I like to downgrade at the captain spot. So take Najee Harris out, put him in the flex, and play a cheaper captain. So now maybe this is just a pure example. We play the Steelers at captain. That leaves us not, let's try this again. Let's actually try putting them in the captain spot. Steelers. That leaves us 6,500 left for the last player. That could work. If you want to get an even better player, you could put the Bears at the captain. Or if you don't want to get that crazy, you could put Roethlisberger or Fields, save a few extra bucks, and upgrade that final spot. So different ways to play it. I think the field primarily will play Najee Harris in low-risk contests and just figure out whatever values they want and jam them in. I'm not sure that's the most optimal way. But there are a couple ways you can play it. So play around with it, see what you can come up with. FanDuel, surprisingly, it's a little more straightforward. Let's go over there. Now, again, Najee Harris is going to be the most popular. Let's get him in. Big Ben, Justin Fields. And again, we can't really play the Bears running backs. In general, when we can't fit the underdog running back in, we tend to leave them out in our low-risk lineups anyways, especially when there's a sizable underdog. And again, even if we did try to fit him, we can't. $1,500 left, right? So now we have these 3 main plays. You have to get them into your low-risk lineups on FanDuel, 50-50s, double-ups, head-to-heads. Put Najee Harris in the MVP spot, and then fill in with your 2 favorite remaining values. And there are a couple guys you can make it work with. So this is definitely the start on FanDuel. Honestly, pretty straightforward. So let's talk about high-risk contests. Leagues, GPPs, satellites. This is where it gets interesting tonight. Now, again, Najee Harris going to be the most popular. If you play him, how do you differentiate? Now you have to play 2 players that are going to be unpopular, less than 20% of rosters. And all these players below 4 or 5K are going to be there, right? Except for maybe a couple of these guys will get up. But most of these players are going to be less than 20% because no one really wants to play them. It's really tough. Really, really tough. So, what are our normal strategies here? Normal strategies. If it's a high scoring game, we tend to play pass catchers at the captain spot, maybe quarterbacks. If it's a lower scoring game, we play running backs at the captain spot. Now, Najee's going to be the most popular. So here are a couple ways to play it. Maybe you play David Montgomery and hope that he has a full role coming back. If we go with our underdog strategy, where the underdogs are played less than they should be at the captain spots, you could play the passing games. Justin Fields can run some, has been running more in his most recent starts, so that gives him some upside. Both Allen Robinson and Darnell Mooney are on our underperforming wide receiver list this week. If you've seen our underperforming wide receiver list, you know that basically what it does, it takes the last 3 weeks of data, looks at receivers who should have more fantasy points than their opportunity, based on their opportunity than they've actually recorded. And that makes sense, right? Fields hasn't been that great. Mooney and Robinson haven't posted great fantasy totals, but they are on our underperforming wide receivers list. And those guys tend to score touchdowns when they're on the list, unless your name's Robbie Anderson. So what you could do, you could play the underperforming wide receivers, double it up on the underdog macro, and you play A-Rob at captain. Now, I know that feels gross because he hasn't had more than like 12 points in a game all year. He hasn't had double-digit points since week 2. So, it takes a lot of stones to play him at captain, but he is underperforming, and no one's going to do it tonight. Same with Darnell Mooney. If we put Mooney here, let's see here. At least he's put up some games, right? And he's actually the number 1 receiver in terms of volume for Chicago. But playing him or A-Rob at captain, certainly different in high-risk contests. And the nice thing about that is they don't have to be the highest scorer on the slate, the highest scorer on the slate. Najee could be the highest scorer on the slate. But because of the salary savings of what they allow you to do with the rest of your lineup, they could be the optimal captain because of the salary multiplier. So you could play those guys. Let's just take a look at the values to see what it offers us. Any player below 4K, right? All right. It grows quickly. All right, so we have the kickers. We have the Bears defense. We have Jesse James. Remember, Jimmy Graham was out recently, so that's why he's gotten a couple targets. But he could get a couple targets tonight. All it takes, especially if it's a low-scoring game, is 1 touchdown at this price to get into the optimal lineup. So he's in play. Ray McCloud could play some slot snaps tonight since Juju's been out. So it's possible. Not likely, but possible. Zach Gentry is probably the best option here. Eric Ebron's out once again. And last time when Eric Ebron was out, Pat Freiermuth, the starting tight end, got a ton of work. But Gentry had a little bit of a bump too. 5 targets, played some more snaps, ran some more routes. Probably the best overall play in this group. And then we have the backup running backs. Should something happen to Najee. Jameer Byrd, maybe gets a target. Like, come on. Ooh, we're getting gross quickly. Getting really gross, really quickly. Some of the tight ends, Jimmy Graham, Jesper Horsted, maybe get a target or 2. Yeah, dude, it's bad. It's bad down here. So Gentry's probably the best option. But again, this lack of value goes to show that we should be playing more defenses and kickers tonight just because they're a lock to score a couple of points and have upside for 10+ with these 2 quarterbacks. And then maybe Gentry. It's tough. Another reason to really like those mid-range captains tonight, to not force you to have to play these types of plays. On this note, check out our premium podcast that I do with Colin Drew every Monday and Friday. Colin Drew's from Daily Roto, big showdown winner. We talked about it today. Normally, you don't want to play running backs against the other team's defense, quarterbacks against the other team's defense, kickers against the other team's defense. But tonight, because of how few values there are and how low of a scoring game it could be, a lot of those correlation rules could be broken. You could play Big Ben against the Bears defense, Fields against the Steelers, Boswell against David Montgomery. Like these types of plays that you normally wouldn't play because of correlation. If they just need a couple of points against the optimal lineup, that correlation kind of goes out the window. So, again, open up your lineup thinking for tonight on DraftKings especially. Now, FanDuel, we know Najee is going to be the most popular, but he hasn't had insane rushing efficiency, right? Most of his value has come through the passing game. If he doesn't score 2 touchdowns tonight, Big Ben can easily outscore him. We saw this with the Jonathan Taylor, Carson Wentz slate, and it was looking okay until Jonathan Taylor busted off that 70-yard touchdown run. But again, if the touchdown variance goes in favor of the passing game, Big Ben at about half the roster rate at MVP of Najee Harris could be the optimal MVP. So I think in most contest types, I would opt to go this way, especially if Najee is going to be 45-50% like we expect. And again, if you're getting super crazy, you could play Justin Fields, especially with his rushing ability, right? So that's how we have it. We think it's, in terms of popularity, it's going to be Najee, Big Ben, Justin Fields, Deontay Johnson as they're priced on FanDuel. As far as leverage goes, Big Ben, Fields, in that order is who we would recommend playing. Anytime you get the quarterbacks that have reduced MVP roster rates, you have to take a shot on those in tournaments on FanDuel just because of the scoring system and the lack of a salary multiplier. So, all right, that'll do it for this video. Again, it's a very tough slate tonight. Limit your allocation. Try to sit back and enjoy, if you even can, this low total game. For full thoughts on the DFS slates for FanDuel and DraftKings, check out our daily plug, occupyfantasy.com, posted by 3 or 4 p.m. Eastern. Rankings, FanDuel and DraftKings for all different contest types, plus lineup strategies for those contest types. Don't want to miss it. It's linked in the description below. Check out our Occupy model, rankings for every player, FanDuel and DraftKings with projected ownership. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're getting close to 3K subscribers. We'll do a giveaway when we get there, so make sure you're subscribed. Helps us out, lets you get notified when we upload new videos. Give us that thumbs up. Any questions, comment on the video, or hop in our Discord server to chat with other members of the OccupyFantasy.com community. Brian Jester for Occupy Fantasy. Appreciate you listening. Good luck tonight, and we'll talk to you soon.